Now here's Chris Thomas, ball in hand. Oh, nice footwork, and then the speed, the acceleration, and Chris Thomas levels the score.
Chris Thomas captains Team USA's women's rugby team.
USA on three! 1, 2, 3! USA!
Her road to the world stage is truly a Philadelphia story. Chris and I sat down for a conversation outside her Southwest Philly home for a look back at how it all started.
Looking around here, Southwest Philly, how does a girl from here, A, get into rugby and then end up going to Tokyo to be part of the Olympic Games?
It's been a long journey.
All smiles as a little girl, Chris grew up loving sports.
I've always been that kid that's like never home. I was always out running around with my friends, so I think just like liking sports kind of eventually took me to rugby.
Chris Thomas goes for the corner, and there it is. Easy as you like. Chris Thomas gets try number 67. She's just come on the field, and that's an impact you want.
How do you think Philly and that toughness and that grittiness that kind of becomes ingrained in you really truly prepared you for what you're doing now?
I think I definitely do take kind of like that Philly pride and that Philly toughness for me, like when I play sports, you know, like for me, I've always been someone that kind of struggled a little bit with confidence, and I think rugby in general is like a sport that just can be really empowering.
Off of this turnover, she stops, she stutters, and she goes again. I mean, you cannot buy that.
I definitely take that like Philly pride and that grit into the sport when I'm playing rugby.
No one will feel more pride than Chris's dad, Larry, when he sees his daughter represent Team USA in Tokyo.
She likes to achieve, and we're behind her. Her mother and I and her family, we're behind her 100%. And we're real proud of her.
He's like the most selfless person I've ever met. Like he will give you his last dollar. Like when we were kids, he would like see all the other kids out here playing with us, and if he was coming outside to give us something, he gave it to every single kid on the block. Like he's just the most selfless person I've ever met.
Chris is the big story on her block in Southwest Philly, and in North Philly too. Rayburn Park, to be exact, where Chris and I caught up on another place that helped her reach the Olympic stage.
You were telling us this is a pretty special place for you and the beginnings of your athletic career, right?
Yeah, so the first sport that I played was actually running track, and my middle school was right down the street, St. Martin de Porres, and we actually used to run over here on this path when I was a kid.
Chris was kind enough to show me some rugby basics, but it wasn't that long ago that she was just learning the sport. She was 18 years old at the University of Central Florida.
I went to the practice. I was really shy because I didn't know anyone. I didn't really know anything about rugby besides like a few things. So we did like this passing drill that was really confusing, and I was terrible. And then we did this like a tackling drill, and one of the forwards just right out knocked me on my butt. Yeah, I got laid out in my first practice, but I kept showing up.
She kept showing up all right, and she kept working. Sculpting her body into elite shape, refusing to stop until she reached her Olympic goal.
She's just driven. It's just in her from the womb to now. I'm just beyond proud of her. Like, the life that she lives is most people's dream.
That's Chris's mom, Kim. She's spent 2 decades as a Philadelphia police officer, and Chris's toughness comes largely from her.
She has always really been such like a strong role model. Like everyone always asks, like when they find out that I have a parent that's a cop, they always ask if it's my dad when it's actually my mom. You know, she's always been like this really like alpha female, like a really strong, like will say whatever's on her mind, like very opinionated. Like I just love that. Like she has no fear.
Whatever she sets her mind to, she excels in it. And I'm not just saying that because she's my child. That's just her.
Chris will carry Southwest Philly with her and apply the life lessons she learned from her parents.
Growing up with like my parents the way they are, I think, especially my dad, like he really ingrained in that, like the value of community. And I think if you approach a team sport having those values of like really valuing the friendships, the relationships, the community, I think it'll send that team to a whole nother level. So I think like my parents, both of them definitely like ingrained that in me from a young age.
For our Quest for Gold special, Taryn Hatcher, NBC Sports Philadelphia.